The main question of every Bandai game, especially anime games, is the netcode going to be good? And unfortunately, they have a pretty shoddy track record when it comes to online connectivity in all games, including Dragon Ball games. But Sparking Zero might be the first to actually break the mold. However, it could potentially have some issues with the netcode, as I will show in this video. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here, back to more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And before we get too far on, I wanted to mention the online netcode of the game. We have seen 2 online gameplay demo showcases so far of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and both times the connection was literally fine. In fact, we'll be getting another online gameplay showcase at Tokyo Game Show 2024 during September 21st to 22nd. We are getting 2 teams fighting each other in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, while we see even more online gameplay, so that will be very good to see how this turns out. However, there are some instances of attacks not tracking correctly, even when the enemy is standing still, and other things you could see, such as attacks even double hitting enemies. And this happens because usually the game registers your screen attacking the person and then the other screen attacking the person, which results in a double hit. And it's not usually the most egregious thing ever, but it's a really clear indication that yes, there will be online lag. And again, this is happening with with media companies and Bandai Namco themselves, just playing the console right next to each other. You can see this. So you can expect double hitting in basically every match, and maybe certain key blast tracking might be scuffed. However, I do want to say in the clip of key blast tracking not working, it is Frieza's key blasts, and they are very, very small, so they probably have an even smaller hitbox. They're not going for Xenoverse hitboxes in this game, thank God. So I can forgive this one. And another oddly good thing about Sparking Zero is that it's made by the same people who made Jump Force. Now you're probably thinking, oh yeah, you're right, that means the connection's gonna suck. No, surprisingly enough, the only thing that was wrong with Jump Force was that the game was very ugly and unbalanced. The game's connection for the most part was pretty okay. If you consider the fact that the game didn't have that many players, the game still had fine connection when it literally just came out. Xenoverse 2 now, when it only has 1k people on it, every week, has horrible connection. But Jump Force, even in its heyday, its connection was really, really good. So I think Spike Chunsoft actually just know how to make a good, stable balance when it comes to a game's internet. Again, Jump Force's biggest issue was just that it was very hard to see anything in the game because there were just way too many VFX, as well as that the game was just super unbalanced again. But Sparking Zero doesn't suffer from that. So far from me playing it, the VFX in Sparking Zero, some people find them too much. I understand very much for beam clashes, but everywhere else, no. Smoke screens get pushed out of the way when characters move or charge up around them, or shoot key blasts in and out of them, so you can't get blinded in this game either. That's not going to be an issue online. So yeah, I think Sparking Zero, just because it's made by Spike Chunsoft, again, maybe because the game is a lot bigger now, there could be some issues with this, but Spike Chunsoft did a very, very good job of Jump Force's connection. And while that game was horrible, it played online. So I think that's a good thing going in Sparking Zero's favor. Again, there are small issues, like the key blast missing an enemy that's literally standing still and double hitting, but Jump Force didn't have those issues when the game came out, and that game had definitely a lot less effort put into it than Sparking Zero. So I think those will probably get removed or patched out before the game actually goes live, because, obviously you do the online things last for a video game, since the game is just supposed to be playable first before you worry about people being able to play with each other on it. Now, remember what I said earlier, these are when you consider the fact that these are companies playing right next to each other, given gameplay by Bandai Namco, or just Bandai themselves. So online, where, let's say me, for example, I'm fighting someone who's all the way in, America, that's going to be quite different. Instead, the key blasts might be missing by an even bigger margin, even when they are big key blasts. For example, not Frieza's small, tiny, Death Beam-esque key blasts. And stuff like double hitting might even go all the way to triple hitting if you get super unlucky. Xenoverse 2 is an example of a game that has double hitting, but also suffers from a great issue of iframes being so dominant in the game, because when you play online, there's even more iframes to fight because the game is lagging and just drags out those frames even further. Now, Sparking Zero thankfully doesn't seem to be as plagued with many iframes, so it probably won't suffer a Xenoverse issue where you just get people running away from you the entire fight and just trying to see if they can stun you before they even attack you. Thank God. But it might also suffer more from a fighter's issue where characters end up just either freezing or teleporting all over the screen or whatever is going on, depending on which connection system they go for. So that could suck. You pick your poison. Let me know what you'd prefer in the comment section. Would you prefer a fighter's kind of style where the game just freezes every now and then and says connecting, wait for connection? Or would you prefer a Xenoverse one where the game just has a mini heart attack and then 2 players end up being in entirely 2 different places because they can't see where each other are going while that lag spike is happening? You let me know which one you prefer. Now, alternatively, the secret weapon could potentially be the fact that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero might get a rollback connection, because the timing of it being added to the fighters, the same with the timing of breakers getting crossplay, was all very convenient. It seemed like all Dragon Ball games together were collaborating or at least prototyping for Sparking Zero, such as Xenoverse getting the next gen, fighters getting rollback, breakers getting crossplay. To my knowledge, Sparking Zero still does not have crossplay. Again, it could change before the game comes out. Maybe for the game's launch trailer it could be announced. Maybe for a post-launch or update they could also mention it, right? But so far, no crossplay for Sparking Zero. However, rollback is still an opportunity the game has. Now, rollback could go very bad like it did for Dragon Ball FighterZ, but there's also the chance for it to actually save the game and make the online playability just way more coherent, which is very nice, because again, I don't think it'll get as bad as Xenoverse 2, but we don't want that when we can already see issues in the game, considering the fact that they're playing right next to each other, which is, that's kind of tough. Again, Sparking Zero is a much bigger game, so these kind of issues are more likely to pop up even when they're playing consoles at such close proximity. One thing that does help out Sparking Zero a lot more than Xenoverse would have, for example, is the fact that it is a next-gen Bandai game in a 3D space, like Armored Core and Elden Ring. So there's the potential for a lot less lag to occur, because if you, again, just compare Armored Core and Elden Ring's connection to previous Bandai games, they are a lot better, straight up. Especially the anime games. You guys might remember that the Naruto Storm games suffer from delayed inputs, and if Sparking Zero has delayed inputs, oh my god, that would be it. That would be the end of the game. But thankfully, most Dragon Ball games don't actually suffer from the delayed inputs issue when it comes to the online connectivity. It's usually just something else. So I don't think we'll get a Naruto Storm situation. That'd be very unfortunate for Sparking Zero, because that makes Naruto Storm's connection completely unplayable. Like, for example, in Naruto Storm, let's say you press the punch button, like the light attack button. Maybe a whole second later, it would actually show up on your screen. And don't worry, the exact same thing is happening to your enemy. So it's technically a fair fight. It's just a horrendous fight. Which is a game like Dragon Ball The Breakers actually doesn't suffer from. Dragon Ball The Breakers, despite being just like, you know, Xenoverse 2 assets for the most part, has consistently better connection than Xenoverse 2. So it does make me believe that the newer games are actually being treated with a lot more care. When it comes to Bandai Namco, especially Sparking Zero. Again, Sparking Zero is something they put their heart and soul into. I have faith that the game's connection will at least be very playable when the game first launches, right? It could potentially get worse. I hope it doesn't become a Xenoverse 2 issue, where adding updates and more stuff to the game and makes the game chunkier and just, you know, tank when it comes to online connectivity. But Dragon Ball The Breakers, for the most part, things actually connect in Breakers. Maybe they connect even a little too well sometimes. But Breakers has, you know, solid connection for the most part. Unless if you're getting a super horrendous match. But when you do, the game actually does pick if it's going to kick, you know, the enemy out or you out, depending on whose connection suffers more. Which I think is really cool that Dragon Ball The Breakers does actually check who has the worst connection here and what would make for the best playable match experience. Now, Sparking Zero is a one-on-one game. It's not a team-based game, so it probably won't pick and choose who should go and who should stay, because then a match would effectively end. But it at least won't make people suffer if they're trying to like level up in ranked or something else and just say, oh, you lose because the guy's connection sucks and we just decided that you should get screwed over. Like, I don't think Sparking Zero will do that, thank God. So that's pretty cool. When it compares to Tenkaichi free gameplay, honestly, online, Tenkaichi free gameplay is really hard to gauge online, because when the game had an online connection, I'd only played 2 matches in my life. And from what I remember as a small boy playing it, it was very fun. I didn't think there was any online like issues. I didn't think there was any lag. I think I only played like Kid Buu and then SSJ4 Gogeta after I lost my first match. But the game's connection felt fine. I didn't feel like my animations or like inputs or anything was getting stunted or blocked. It felt like it was just completely okay. So I'm hoping the same applies, since again, Spike Chunsoft and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is their poster boy. It's their baby. It's their child, you know. So they're gonna take great care of it. I think the game's got probably a good thing going for it. I don't think there's too much to worry about though, because I actually completely forgot that the most recent gameplay showcase was the Ultimate Gohan vs. Kefla one. That is an online fight. Please look at the player names. It just says player name this, player name that, and the time was way longer. In that gameplay showcase, for the most part, the game looks like it works pretty fine online. Again, don't forget they're playing right next to each other, but stuff like key blasts, they don't miss when enemies are like moving, let alone where they're standing still. So I think we're in good hands, and I think this is honestly a great place to end the video, guys. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed the video, don't obviously again, please leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next. Love you all, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care, and peace.